Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to be tackling some of those projects that we all have, I think, in our homes, things that are just things that need to be done that we kind of tend to push off. We tend to wait until a day where we have time to do them. So I just want to show you a way that I have been trying to put into practice in my homemaking, and that is to take that list of jobs or projects that you have. Maybe you have a running list kind of in your head, which is great. Write it down on a piece of paper. That way it kind of frees up your brain of that, and write them all down. That way if you need to purchase something to finish up a project, you know exactly what you need to get. Or maybe you have to finish one project to finish another one. Sometimes that happens as well. And then once you have everything written down, you can kind of assess what all you have to do. So then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some time each day, and it doesn't have to be a lot, just kind of whatever extra time you have, and we're going to try to complete one of those projects. So some projects obviously are going to take more time than what you have in one day, and that's totally fine to kind of divide them up into 2 days, whatever time you need. And you'll see me doing that with some projects today as well. Sometimes you just don't have as much time, but just to work in that one extra project a day, and before you know it, you'll have some things crossed off your list. So once I get the dishwasher loaded, I'm going to show you the first project of today. So a lot of these projects that I will be showing you today are things that have just not gotten done, things that I've just wanted to get done for a while, and it just seems like I've been pushing them off because I somehow think in my mind that one of these days I'll actually have time to get them done. So I thought, instead of waiting for that certain day, we're going to just kind of slice it up into smaller projects and try to knock one out each day and see how far down the list we get. Alright, so that is done. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully you'll get some inspiration to get some of those projects done for yourself. So let's get started over here. Alright, so over here we have our butcher block countertop here around the stove top. Every once in a while I have to go ahead and recondition it. And the last conditioner that I was using, I just didn't really like it as well, or I didn't think it lasted very long, so I'm going to try a new one. One of these days I would love to just go ahead, sand this whole thing down and refinish it somehow to where it stays nice and gives me that that dark, nice wood look. But until then, I just keep reapplying like a top coat or something on top to give me that nice look. This is literally how it looks most of the time. It always just kind of looks dirty and greasy. Like here it looks like there's a bunch of grease here, and it probably is from the stove top, but like it's wiped down, but it's just how it looks when it needs to be recoated again. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This is one thing that I've been kind of just pushing off and waiting till I don't know when to get it done. So we're going to go ahead and tackle that right now. Here is the new feed and wax that I got. I'm going to try this one. This is a beeswax, and it has orange oil. It sounds really good. I've never used this one before for the top, but we're going to go ahead and just give this another good wipe down. Make sure that everything is nice and clean before we get started. So for this product, I'm just going to go ahead and apply it pretty liberally. I'm putting it on my cloth first, and I'm trying to, not be sparing with it at all, and trying to really get it to soak into the wood this time. And I did end up doing 2 separate coats of this. I put a nice thick layer on, and then I let it set for a while, and then once the time was up, I did go ahead and add another coat and let it set again before I went ahead and finished it up. Alright, so we got that done, and we're going to let this sit for a little bit, and I have about an hour and a half or so before we have school children coming home and stuff. So I think I'm going to just let this sit for an hour to an hour and a half, and then we'll take another clean dry cloth and then kind of wipe up the excess and polish it in really good. And hopefully it'll stay like this. This is definitely the color that I would love if it would stay this color. It's just that really nice brown. It looks a little more orange, almost kind of matches with the cabinets on camera, but it's definitely a little more brown than the cabinets. But we're going to see how this lasts, and I'm just going to let it sit here for a little bit. Also, just as a side note, doesn't have anything to do with today's video really, but I did get some new rugs for the kitchen, and they're these nice just a striped kind of browns and tans and a little bit of cream in there. So I can't wait to put these down. Just some nice new rugs. I got a smaller one for in front of the oven, and then I got a longer one for down here in front of the sink. So I'm going to, another thing that I really wanted to do today was go ahead and mop the kitchen floor, get it nice and clean. So I'm going to do that probably off camera, and then we can put the rugs down and see how they look. Alright, so here we are at day number 2, and today's project is going to be going through all of the kids' clothing and just go through their closets, sorting through what they have. I know there's clothes in their closets right now that is too small, or they're just worn out and things like that. So we're going to go through all of them and just sort through everything, donate what we can, get rid of the rest, and just kind of declutter through their drawers. For Weston's side of the drawer, there wasn't really a lot to go through on his part, being he is growing so fast, and I do this pretty regularly for him, sorting through his clothes, getting the next size out, and so forth. So we ended up with a nice bag full of clothing that we can donate, and then I'm quickly going to go through the closets as well. Chloe had quite a number of dresses that were getting too short for her or just plain wore out, so we're going to take those out of her closet. And we're moving right along to the next day. Here is our third project, and that is this corner here, right when you come up to the stairs. It is a major catch-all area for just anything and everything. Right now there's a stack of jars here that just needed to go downstairs. So I started putting them in these bins, as you see here, and stacking them, putting a sheet of cardboard in between the layers so that they stack nicely. And this seems to work out really nice. I like the clear containers, that way I can see like the size of jar that's in each one, and so forth. So I'm putting the pint jars in this container, filling it up, and then I'll take the rest of them downstairs then. And then we're just going to straighten up, get everything cleared out here. I wanted to also just kind of redecorate this little corner here, just get some new things up, just freshen it up a little bit. So we're going to do that once we get everything cleaned up. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean up the floor, the baseboards, just kind of wiping on the walls as I'm going here. I'm just getting everything cleaned up. So moving on to this shelf here, just wiping it down, and I did put the sanitizer, hand sanitizer back. Then I went down in my closet where I keep all my decor and things. I'm just going to look through some things here. I thought this welcome home sign might be cute up there, so I'm going to take that up once, and we're just going to try a few different things here. Maybe this tray for like some keys, whatever that comes in. And then up top here I have a lot of my like mottos, pictures, and things like that. So I looked through that. Those were all kind of big for what would fit there. But I did have this 3-piece tree set that I had in a bedroom. So I thought maybe I'd take that up. That might look good there. So we're going to take this stuff up once, see what we can do with it, and go from there. So now you'll see me just kind of playing around with some different things here and seeing what works. When I put all 3 of these pieces up here, it seemed kind of big. It was just too full. So after putting everything down, I realized this was just not looking quite like I'd wanted. So I thought maybe I could take the middle one down and just do the 2, and then just put those together. But something didn't look quite right, so I just put the trunk and then one side. But somehow I still wasn't really liking it, so I just decided to take that down and go with something different. And I had made these from like Dollar Tree, the little houses, and I had put the home letters in them. So I tried that and put a couple green pieces up, some greenery, and I was liking how this looked a lot better. I liked how it was a little more lower, that way you couldn't really see it as well from the living room. I like how it's not as tall, it's just a little more discreet back here. So this is what it ended up looking like. I'm liking it so far. It's freshened it up a little bit. It is definitely looking better since not everything is piled up under the shelf. So moving on to day 4, we are down here again back in this area where I keep all my decor and things like that, and I had some of these frames that were just kind of laying out around the room, so I'm going to stack them up here to keep them protected until a lot of them are like holiday pictures and things like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the floor swept, just kind of cleaning up this area as I go along. You remember in a previous video when I was cleaning up my office area, and I said we would wait and do this side of the office at a later date, kind of over here on the workout area of the room. So today is the day. We got it cleaned up and it is looking so much better. Now moving over to this area, I knew I wouldn't get all of this done today, so I decided to just clean off the top of this little shelf here, and then the inside of this would have to wait for another day. So back here in this corner, I had some extra cords and things that I didn't even realize I wasn't using back here. So I'm going to clean out those. And my cord situation is not very ideal for my laser cutter, but until I get something figured out differently, it's just kind of going to stay that way for now. Alright, and I think we are on to day 5. So here is this little piece of trim here. When we moved the fridge and this cabinet around, when we traded these out, there was a little piece of trim here that was not covered. So I went ahead and added that piece of trim down there to finish it off. But now it needs to be caulked and painted and finished properly. So the first thing that we're going to do is caulk the top and just get everything sealed up really nicely, make it look nice and seamless. And then we're also going to fill all of those little nail holes, get everything nice and smooth. Once that had dried, of course, we're going to sand everything down really well before we go ahead and start with the paint. I did use my tack cloth to get all of the dust and make sure the trim was nice and clean so that the paint would stick really well. I am going to tape over here on this cabinet just so that I don't get any of the white paint on that. And I know I should have changed my dress into a paint dress to do this, but it wasn't a lot and I thought I could get it done without getting any paint on my dress. And we are on to day 6. So now we are tackling the inside of these cabinets, and I'm starting by taking all of these CDs out. Does anyone still use CDs? I don't know, but we had this huge stack of CDs, and I'm going to go through all of them and kind of get rid of the cases. I'll use the fronts of the CDs to put in the CD case and then put the CD in front of it. And that should eliminate a lot of kind of the chaos that was happening in these little cabinets. And then I can get rid of all of the cases. Interestingly enough, one of my siblings is part of a quartet, so we have a few of their CDs. So once I had all that organized in my CD case, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these little cubbies emptied out, and then kind of just organize and go through what was in there and get rid of anything that we weren't using anymore. Now for the games, I wanted to do some little containers, something to keep them nice and organized and looking neat. So I found these on Amazon. I'll try to remember to link them for you below. They do work really well for games. They're nice and thin, but most games should fit in them. Like this Connect 4 game fit in just perfectly, even with all the game pieces and everything. We really don't have a lot of games, so that is something that I would like to kind of get a few more of as time goes on, to get our selection of games up a little bit more. And then I went ahead on my Cricut and just wrote out each of the games so that I can label each one of these containers so that we know where each game is, and that just keeps it a little bit more organized. So here are the games that we have right now. I'm just going to cut these out, and like I said, I would definitely like to get some more games just to have on hand for the children and us to play. And then I'm just sticking each of these on the front of these, and they fit in there really nicely, and I'm really loving how this is all looking. Here is what that shelf looks like with all of those stacked up nicely, and we definitely have lots of room for more games if we want to expand our collection. So that is what we got done these last days, and I'm very happy with what all we got accomplished, kind of shortening that list down a little bit, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.